This is one of my favorite picture books of all time by Jacqueline Woodson. A beautiful book called The Other Side. Listen to these very precious words by Jacqueline Woodson. That summer, the fence that stretched through our town seemed bigger. We lived in a yellow house on one side of the fence. White people lived on the other. And Mama said, "Don't you climb over that fence when you play." She said it wasn't safe. And that summer, there was a girl who wore a pink sweater. And each morning, she sat up on that fence and stared over at our side. Sometimes I stared back. She never sat on that fence with anybody, though. That girl didn't. Once when we were just jumping rope, she asked if she could play. And my friend Sandra said no, without even asking the rest of us. I don't know what I would have said. Maybe yes, maybe no. And that summer, everyone and everything on the other side of that fence, it seemed very far away. And when I asked my mama why, she said, because that's the way things have always been. Sometimes when me and Mama went into town, I saw that girl with her mama. She looked sad sometimes. And Mama would say, "Don't stare. It's not polite." Rained a lot that summer too. One rainy day, that girl sat on the fence in a raincoat. She let herself get all wet. She acted like she didn't even care. And sometimes I saw her dancing around in puddles, splashing and laughing. Mama wouldn't let me go out in the rain. She would say, "That's why I bought you rainy day toys. No, you stay inside here where it's nice and warm, safe, and dry." But every time it rained, I'd look for that girl. I always found her too, somewhere near the fence. And someplace in the middle of the summer, the rain stopped. When I walked outside, the grass was damp. The sun was already high up in the sky. I stood there, my hands up in the air. I felt brave that day. I felt free. I got close to that fence, and that girl asked me my name. "Clover," I said. And she said, "And my name's Annie, Annie Paul. I live over yonder by where you see the laundry. That's my blouse hanging on the line." She smiled then. She had a pretty smile. And I smiled too. We just stood there, looking at each other, smiling. Annie said, "You know, it's nice up on this fence. You can see all over." I ran my hand along the fence, reached up and touched the top of it. Annie looked at me sideways and said, "You know, a fence like this was just made for sitting on." But I said, "My mama says I shouldn't go on the other side." Annie said, "Yeah, my mother says the same thing, but you know, she never said nothing about sitting on it." I said, "Neither did mine." And that summer, me and Annie sat together on that fence. And when Sandra and them looked at me funny, I just made believe I didn't even care. And some mornings my mama watched us too. And I waited for her to tell me to get down from that fence now before I break my neck or something. She never did. One morning she said, "Ah, I see you made a new friend." I nodded. Mama smiled. And that summer, me and Annie sat on that fence, and we watched the whole wide world around us. One day, Sandra and them were jumping rope right near the fence, and we asked if we could play. Sandra said, "Sure, I don't care." And when we jumped, Sandra and me were partners. just the way we used to be. And when we were too tired to jump anymore, we sat up on that fence, all of us, in a long line. And Annie said, you know, someday somebody's going to come along and knock this old fence down. I nodded and said, yeah, someday. The Other Side by Jacqueline Woodson. I like books that make me feel something. This book certainly makes you feel something. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe. You just might find a very special book that will change your whole life. Thank you. Bye-bye.